So I wanted to take a few minutes with this video to talk about 3 interesting PlayStation 5 stories, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. Now, the stories I wanted to cover today includes the PlayStation 5 Slim, possibly releasing next year, God of War Ragnarok pre-orders and a new teaser, and another source confirms their information about Sony's next big buyout. First, yes or no, would you buy a PlayStation 5 Slim or not? For me, it's an easy yes. I'd pre-order that the moment I can. If there is no Pro Console to go after, of course. If there is a Pro Console, I'll go for that, but if there isn't, a Slim would be the one I would go for. The PS5, while I love the design, you can't deny it's a big boy. I would love to be able to pack a PlayStation 5 Slim in my backpack when I go on trips, to have it with me, and even at home, have it on my desktop area hooked up to my monitor while I have the big boy in the living room, again, taking less space. Of course, that's just me and my situation, but what about you guys? So comment below, yes or no, if you'd buy a PlayStation 5 Slim or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, God of War Ragnarok pre-orders and hype. So this is a two-parter here. Part 1 isn't really long. Pretty much an image has been making the rounds over the weekend, pointing towards the ability of pre-ordering the physical edition of God of War Ragnarok. I'm sure some of you guys have seen this legendary image at this point that included not only God of War Ragnarok, but also Titanfall 3, which hasn't even been announced. I will say that Titanfall 3 did appear on the Nvidia leak, I believe, which has been pretty on point as of recently, so I wouldn't be surprised if a Titanfall 3 does actually happen, but at the same time, I've seen some people point to this Titanfall 3 mention being just Apex Legends, so I'm not really sure on that part. I personally haven't really looked into it. Regardless, the point here is that this image is from GameStop Germany, from what I'm being told, which apparently allows you to pre-order non-existent games, and in the chance they come to fruition, they actually get announced, you're on that list of pre-orders. Or future games like God of War Ragnarok that don't have pre-orders up, and when they do open the official pre-orders up, you're on that official list. It's just kind of a pre-order list to the pre-order lists just to get you ahead there, and essentially just to get some people locked in with GameStop to buy their games. But moving over to part 2 of this, the part 2 here is that Sony Santa Monica could be gearing up for the release of God of War Ragnarok. Recently, art director at Sony for God of War, Raf Grassetti, hopefully I said that correctly, posted an image with him wearing a God of War Ragnarok shirt with just a blue heart emoji for the caption. It's either he's teasing God of War Ragnarok merch with the shirt, or something God of War Ragnarok related coming soon. I hope it's the latter. Let's see, of course, but man, I don't know why you'd post an image like that, knowing the community has been seeking God of War Ragnarok information or any updates on the game without hopefully something soon happening, especially considering that they Raf closed the comment section on that Twitter post. So of course it's even more, it's like everybody's excited. So when you post an image like that, hopefully something is happening soon, but we have to wait and see. Now, diving into the second story of the video, another source confirms their information about the next Sony buyout, the big one. So earlier this year, we heard rumors about a big buyout happening, but no one was pointing to who was going to do the buying. Considering the rumor started going around after the Activision buyout by Microsoft, many guests were talking about PlayStation, since Microsoft is still working on that huge Activision buyout. They're focused on that, so they're not going to announce anything else or try to go for anything else just yet. Later on, we heard murmurs of it being PlayStation doing the buying and it being related to a Japanese company. Most people here guessed, of course, Square Enix, but others hoped it would be Konami, or some like myself were pushing for Capcom as being the better option and fit for PlayStation. Moving forward, both Jeff Grubb of GamesBeat and Greg Miller of Kind of Funny Games pointed towards a big buyout by PlayStation, and after the recent Embracer deal with Square Enix, where Embracer bought Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal from Square, we had Jeff Grubb pretty much say the big acquisition he heard in regards to Sony was them buying Square Enix, and now we have Greg Miller saying this on the latest episode of his podcast, PS I Love You, When I talked about the 3 rumors I'd heard and one was an acquisition, this is the one I'd heard. I heard that PlayStation was acquiring Square, and I heard that from multiple different sources. So now we have Jeff Grubb and Greg Miller pointing towards this Square Enix buyout, and honestly seeing the trim down of Square Enix focusing on their Japanese content, their Japanese studios, it seems like a proper fit for PlayStation because again, PlayStation mainly cared about the Japanese content over at Square. At this point, it seems like we're just waiting for it to be announced, but you guys let me know if you're happy to possibly see Square Enix join PlayStation or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Now diving into the final story of the video, the PlayStation 5 Slim. So to keep this story simple, there's been talk of a PlayStation 5 Pro and Slim happening in the near future. The Slim is inevitable, I'll tell you that. It's existed in every generation of PlayStation, so expect it this generation as well. As for the Pro, it's a possibility considering games still can't consistently hit native 4K at 60 FPS. There's room for an upgraded console. I'll say though, the recent VRR update with Insomniac Games opening up 40 FPS at 120 Hz uncapped, pushing their games to 50 FPS plus at native 4K. That's been the closest to that 4K native at 60 FPS dream on console. Still though, this isn't an industry standard and it's still not locked 60 FPS, so there's definitely room for a PlayStation 5 Pro unless we go the upscaling route with FSR and all that tech over there to make 4K images look good at 60 FPS even though they're not native. But focusing on the Slim here, reading from Gaming Sim, it's reported that AMD will launch its first 5nm processor as early as September, and the 3 giants compete for TSMC production capacity. AMD is expected to launch a new generation of processors made on TSMC's 5nm process technology as early as September, industry sources said. According to DigiTimes, AMD has launched a series of 6nm CPU and GPU products since 2022, with TSMC as its sole foundry partner. According to sources, AMD is expected to launch a new generation of 5nm processors later this year, thanks to a close partnership with TSMC. So right now, the PS5 relies on 7nm processors from AMD, but the PS5 Slim could launch with 5nm sometime late next year. Besides performance benefits, this should also free up some tension on the 7nm chips, I assume, considering Sony can produce PS5 consoles that use 7nm and 5nm chipsets to hopefully be able to release more PlayStation 5s to the market. That's how I personally see it, but I'm curious to see how this rolls out. A PS5 Slim is going to happen, and 3 years after the launch of the PlayStation 5 original, which launched back in 2020, it seems like the right time it'll drop, similar to the PlayStation 4 Slim and similar to the PlayStation 3 Slim release timeframes, which were also 3 years after the launch of their original consoles. But you guys let me know if you see a PlayStation 5 Slim launching next year or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, as it always helps, and subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is to body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with "It's another new week." As we approach closer and closer to June, there has to be something happening sometime soon from PlayStation, so it's another new week, another week for possibilities, another week for announcements. So I'm excited. Hopefully we do get something. If you are as well, destroy the comment section with "It's another new week," and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do, because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.